Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies, a podcast about people sharing extraordinary stories about how music has impacted their lives.
Hey, welcome to Music Junkies. I'm excited. Our guest today is Duff.
Yes.
AKA Duff.
AKA Duff. Duffy, DJ Duffy.
Did you have a nickname growing up?
It's crazy you asked that. I had a ton of nicknames.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Give me 5.
5, Bones, Neemore, Bailey.
Oh.
Yeah, Duffels. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So why Bones?
There was a skateboard company back in the day, Bones Brigade.
Yeah.
And I had this sweater that had Bones. I lived in that sweater in high school. And so they called me Bones. I still have that sweater actually. It's kind of
awesome.
hidden away, and yeah, so they called me Bones.
That's awesome. I love your playlist. Thank you for sharing and being here today.
Mm-hmm.
I just was curious. So it didn't take you very long to put this playlist together. So
No.
how was your experience putting that together, and did it bring back any kind of memories right away for you? Were you excited?
Yeah, I think my first response was like, only 10? But it's so hard. Music's been such a big part of my life since I was small, and I'm sure we'll kind of dive into that. But
Yeah.
these songs there's certainly some emotional connection. I know there's lots of songs that are fun and, oh man, that one's catchy, kind of thing like that, and it comes and goes, but these ones, I get goosebumps already thinking about them, even knowing we're going to kind of
That's
approach
awesome.
them. So
I love it. We were actually driving out to the property, Tyler and I wanted to listen to your playlist. This was last week. And there's a few songs that I could just envision you like dancing on a speaker. So I'm excited for these ones to ask you.
Yeah.
So the first one we're going to start with, let's just take it from the top.
Sure.
I feel like this is a speaker dance.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about Cafe
Del Mar. So Energy 52, this is sort of, I was a DJ for many, many years.
Oh, you were? Awesome.
Yeah, and in the trance realm. So one of the last long trance fans, I guess. But Energy 52 is one of those songs that it has this build in it, and it's melodic, and it's driving. So I was a DJ, so one of the reasons we DJ is because we don't want to be dancing on speakers, I guess. But that was a big influence on the genre of music that I wanted to play.
Yeah.
And it's a harder music to DJ, because when you're beat mixing, there's a lot of the melody. And so back then technology wasn't there that would mix it for you and beat match, and so if you touch the record, you could hear that jog wheel, so like speed the music up because it doesn't break. Whereas if it's just bass and cymbals and whatnot, you can mess around with the music and you don't really hear it over the speakers. But that was a big song for us. It was one of my best friend Carrie Chang's. We love that song kind of together, and there's been orchestras that have recreated that to a symphonic type of It's really nice. It's a really great song.
So did you get a lot of action being a DJ?
What kind of action are you talking? You know what? It's one of those things too that knowing what you know now, you kind of wish you would have maybe capitalized on it a little more. But I wasn't that guy.
You're still super shy.
Shy, yeah. I did love the attention.
Yeah.
I'm a Leo, so they do certainly like to be center of attention. So when you're behind the decks and looking out over sometimes thousands of people, it's a lot of fun. So you get a lot of energy from that, and it's funny. I don't know where we can go with this, but Carrie and I were original DJ partners, and my claim, he's gone on to maintain that and has played some big shows, opening up for Tiesto and a bunch of huge DJs.
Yeah.
But my claim to fame is I've been flashed twice as a DJ, and he hasn't been flashed.
By males or females?
Not by males. most males are topless in this situation anyway, right? When they're raving, but
There's a lot of stuff that goes on in a rave back then when I
Yes.
used to rave. Like now it's like I actually remember wearing clothes during a rave when I raved.
Mhm.
We wore like just baggy pants for it looked like we knew how to dance really
Yes.
well. And like maybe a half shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Yeah.
now it's like I feel overdressed.
Certainly.
Even with nipple stickers on, I feel overdressed at a rave.
Probably my favorite outfit of all time. I remember it was actually it was back in 1995. It was a show called Cosmic Jam, and Jenna Jameson
Oh, nice.
was one of the guest DJs. She surprisingly couldn't make it across the border for some reason, but so she no-showed. But and the Hard Kiss Brothers were there. But I remember at this warehouse in Edmonton, and there was a girl that was in a full duct tape outfit, very very small. Yeah, that was probably one of my most memorable outfits I've seen.
I love it.
Yeah, so that made the list because it just influenced so much of the direction that I took with my DJing.
I love trance music. I grew up with it and I absolutely love it, and I've exposed Tyler to lots of it.
And
So-
is he open to it or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This next artist, Nelly, my daughter used to love her.
Mhm.
So this is actually a pretty powerful song. So I am very curious on why that song for you.
So that one in 2007, my sister was killed in a car crash, and so her friends put together a slideshow. It was kind of the beginning of when all these slideshows would happen, and so there's a big slideshow at her memorial, and this was one of the songs that they picked as when they played the slides, and all of her pictures, and it just, the messaging there, and because I know I've had many conversations with my mom about this whole, did we cause this, she wasn't here for she was only 19 years old, and this song was just kind of coming out, so it was very relevant at the time. It was a big song, and so from that point forward, it was played on the radio all the time.
Yeah.
And it would stop me in my tracks. It didn't matter what I was doing. I would just stop everything and listen to the whole song.
Yeah.
Just stand there. Whether it was in the garage, it came on, I would just stop. And it's not played as much anymore, but that was just one of those songs that it always reminds me of my sister, and it was that commonality. So watching her slideshows again, we don't do it very often. But,
Yeah.
but
How long ago was it?
2007.
Yeah.
And so since then, I do a memorial ride for her.
Oh.
It was April. In April, she passed away, and then in September is her birthday. So I do a kind of beginning of the season memorial bike ride and an end of the season memorial bike ride for her on her birthday.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, we're kind of going.
I'm just wondering, do I change the song right away and bring it?
Maybe switch it around. Don't go two in a row here. But
So, Duff, what was your favorite boy band growing up?
well, I have a New Kids on the Block
Okay.
lunch kit. That was something I picked up. I think it was an ex-girlfriend worked at Value Village, and she came home with it, so I still have it. But if I had to choose between New Kids on the Block and what's the other one?
NSYNC?
NSYNC. No, the other one.
Backstreet
Boys.
Yes.
Yeah. I would have to pick New Kids on the Block. I
Okay,
guess.
so who were you in New Kids on the Block?
Maybe I wasn't as that big of a fan. I'm a little older than that, so I wasn't crying on the stage and whatnot.
You
Yeah.
didn't do any of that.
No, none of that for me.
What were you like in high school growing up?
I did a lot of I was a bit of a saying trendsetter is kind of one of those like, oh, look at me, but I was certainly different, which is kind of who I am now. I've never lost that, but I remember my grandpa. My grandpa was a huge influence on me as far as mechanical ability and whatnot. He played in a band, so that was
That's
certainly.
awesome. When did he play?
Oh, they were country, right?
Oh,
They
okay.
would play weddings and stuff, and he'd bring us behind and play with our hands and make us drum. He was the drummer,
Oh,
but
that's awesome.
he could kind of pick up almost any instrument and play a tune. not that he could read notes, but he could just, and I seem to have that ability. Like if you gave me a violin, like I could crank out some sort of song by ear.
We do have.
And
do you want to go get a
no. and my oldest daughter, actually Fiona, is very good at that as well. But he always told me, he's like, son, you gotta conform. You gotta conform. If you want a job, you gotta be like everyone else. And I don't know if that was just me being a rebel. I'm like, I'm not buying into that.
That's
buying
good.
into that. And I remember I would have all sorts of different hair color, and I think I want to say I was about 19 years old, and I pierced my tongue.
Oh.
Yeah.
For the ladies or just?
I don't know. It was another one of those rebel things. Like nobody was doing it.
Did it hurt?
It hurt a lot. Like not to get done, but then the next few days, it's crazy. Your tongue swells up to be like 3 times the size, and you can't even drink stuff because the whole idea of sucking through a straw brings all the blood to it. It's just like exploding. So, but yeah, it was a good friend of mine and I did it, and I remember the first time my grandpa saw it, he
Was not happy.
He was not happy. Not happy. Yeah. But oh well.
And you said you like to skate too, or
Skateboarding.
Yeah.
I played hockey, so I was a goaltender. Another one of those, like, saying people don't play net, right?
Yeah.
Goaltenders seem to be a little bit off, but goes along with the tradition, right? Of who I am. So
I love it.
yeah, maybe skip around a bit.
Yeah,
because I
I
know
feel like we might go down some rabbit holes today. I love it though. So Face to Face, your favorite band on the planet. Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you first discover these guys?
So this would have been just after high school.
Okay.
And we got into quite a big punk scene for that 92, 95, 96, 97 time frame. We kind of drove all over Western Canada. We were at all the Warp tours. There was a club, I don't know if you call it a club, but a club in Edmonton called the Bronx, and they would bring in all of these bands and before they made it big. So I remember Face to Face and NoFX came, and I think Face to Face even opened for NoFX, and now they're a massive band. And I think we went and saw them for like $7 or something. And if you've never been in a mosh pit, I don't know if you.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. So those are just fun times, right? And so I remember hanging out with Face to Face, and they were coming to Calgary, and we said, well, we'll drive down for that show too, because I could nonstop listen to these guys, front to back, CD after CD. It never gets tired for me. I just love these guys, and they're so much fun on stage.
Yeah.
And so we said we'll drive to Calgary to see your show, and they're like, okay, man, well, we'll put you on the guest list as 3 white boys. So my buddy Mike and Cam and I drove down as 3 white boys. We were on the guest list, and it's just even more fun when you get on the guest list, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was your favorite cassette tape you bought, or your first cassette tape you ever bought?
First one?
Yeah.
Billy Idol, White Wedding.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we had a Sony Walkman with a strap.
Yeah.
It's funny how things have changed. The Walkmans used to be like this, and then the headphones were tiny, and now the headphones are massive, and the Walkmans are tiny. But yeah, that was my very first one.
Have you ever seen him in concert?
Billy Idol,
No.
No.
We seen him actually, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago?
Yeah?
2-3 years ago? And
I
he
feel
was
like
amazing.
I feel like he would
so
never
good.
lose it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just at the Grey Eagle Casino. We
Was
had
it?
like 3rd row, and we had like the handicap seats. So we had this whole front area free. So
Wow.
this little girl, she was like 8. Her parents or her dad brought her, his daddy date,
Cool
with his
dad.
buddy. He was pretty hammered, but she was like dancing all in this area. So we were all dancing together. It was like such a good show. It was
That's
such a
pretty cool.
good, and he sounded great. He sounded phenomenal.
Yeah, I would think he'd be one that, yeah, for sure, never lost it and could continue to do it. That'd be a fun concert to see.
Yeah. Well, have you been to lots of concerts?
Um,
Besides like Warped Tour, obviously you've seen a lot of bands there. But what was your favorite memory or favorite band that you ever seen that you're just like, wow, that's an incredible show?
my very first big concert was Poison.
Nice. What one? Unskinny Bob?
No, the one before that. Look What the Cat Dragged In.
Oh, good.
So I think we were 14 years old. somehow we got ninth row on the floor tickets for their very first concert as 14-year-olds, and just me and my good buddy Shane and a couple other friends. Unbelievable, right? And to think that our parents would even let us do that, but I don't know. Just things have changed nowadays, right?
Guys, just going to see Brett Mike, a bunch of guys with lipstick on, not a big deal.
I did catch a few of the hair metal band. I was big into that, and Queensryche, and then we got into what are they? Something like I think I saw Warrant. Cherry Pie. Yeah, just some fun stuff like that.
What was your worst concert you ever been to?
Jeez, that's a tough one. They've all been actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been to a bad concert. I've been to loud concerts.
Yeah.
But nothing really bad, I don't think. Where you're just like, oh my god, that was terrible. I do remember growing up though, if this is considered a concert. My parents were diehard Edmonton Folk Fest fans. They went every year. They dragged it. Well, for the first few years, they would bring us.
Yeah.
And then as I got into my sort of early teens, the year I brought my Walkman to the show, my parents are like, "We're not bringing it anymore." So
he doesn't appreciate good music.
Yeah, this isn't my jam anymore. So I was at least starting to know what style of music I enjoyed.
Not that style.
Not that anymore. No.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I know that you are divorced, so I wanted to ask you what kind of animal would you describe your mother-in-law?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I mean, she's a super lady.
Yeah. But animal.
Animal. Some animal that does lots, like just takes care of everything. Maybe like I was gonna say like a wombat or something that keeps their kids. That's the first thing that came, but not in a bad way, right? Like just make sure everyone's okay and cooks dinner, Sunday night dinners every Sunday.
Yeah.
Do they even do those things?
I think they do.
Carries them around on their backs.
I think wombats do that.
Okay. There it is.
This is funny. I have not really heard of this band very much, but the last couple people that I have did this podcast with, it's on their playlist. So
really,
I'm curious. So Jimmy Eats World. Okay. I've never really heard them before. Little Thing. This could go a lot of different ways. Why do you like that song so much?
Oh man, I'm not gonna pass. Do they know about passes? I'm not gonna pass.
I gotta get some uplifting questions in if we're going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, so, and raising kids is very hard.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago in January, about 6 days before my oldest daughter's birthday, she got into some trouble at volleyball, and so knew kind of through social media that they were getting in trouble. She was playing some club ball, and so found out that there could have been some major consequences because she breached contract. And so in response to that, she attempted suicide.
Oh wow.
And it was a Sunday morning, and we were kind of going out looking at houses and stuff, and I just watched her health kind of decline and whatnot. And so we ended up in the hospital and in Emerge, and then she was at the Children's for a couple days, and then was in just one of the wards at the Foothills Hospital for youths and helping them work through things. So I made multiple trips back and forth to the hospital. Her mother stayed at the hospital, and I would be back and forth bringing clothes and food and whatnot. And for some reason, that song just it made it into my not playlist, because it was there, and it just back and forth. I just listened to that song over and over and over again, and because you just wonder, like, what did you do? What were and the whole idea of little things and and it's funny, you and Tyler did the same thing, like, oh, let's put it in, and so I was at the gym earlier last week, and they're like, same thing, let's put on a playlist, and if you play it in the order that I listed it, it's like, okay, this isn't really workout music, this isn't workout music either, But then this one came on, and I'm halfway through this workout, and I'm just bawling because I'm right back there. And she's okay, and we're grateful, and she's come out of it, and she's just a fantastic girl now, and growing up, and has her own car, and has a job and everything, and so it's just it throws you for a loop. Like, it's just one of the most devastating things to realize that it could have gone a different direction so fast. So
girls are really hard to raise.
Mm-hmm.
Girls are like mean. Like, I remember when Ayla was growing up, nothing extensive of that, but I could see her going down that same road, right?
Yeah.
Just, it's the acceptance and the pressure, and it's
it's hard to know what's going on up there, right?
Yeah.
And
even though you can be so close to your children, there's still so much that they don't tell you, and you feel like you're so close to them. Like, you're such a hands-on dad, so I know that you know so much about your kids. So to not know that is probably what scary and hurts the most, because you're like, oh my God, I feel like we talk every day and we're like best friends, and this is what such a big part of your life that I knew nothing about, and I couldn't help you in that situation.
Right, I had no idea what was going on, and I just encourage, like, if any kids listen to this, like, you have to be aware, like, watch out for your friends. And the unfortunate part is I know now that a couple of her friends knew that she had done this, but they didn't tell anyone. And that's the part that scares me, because if we'd have lost her, these girls would have carried that with them, and everyone's kind of lucky in this respect, and so it was one of the hardest thing I ever. I mean, losing my sister, I've gone through some tough stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it just sounds like music has just been obviously just a big inspiration for you in getting you through tough times.
Oh yeah.
I know it has been for me, that there's songs that trigger this and trigger that, or it changes your state.
Oh yeah.
I always say that it changes your state.
Yeah.
So here, just like to totally switch subjects
Good.
completely, because you were married and you had children and all of that. Have you ever tasted breast milk before?
Probably by accident. Yeah. My kids' mother's younger brothers they're great guys. I love them. Still get along great with the whole family and everything. And my younger brother-in-law Nathan, he would drink a glass of it, he would eat moss, he would do all sorts of stuff. So there was all this like, well, whatever, let's try it. So I didn't have a bowl of cereal with it. But,
what's the craziest thing you've ever did for love?
Well,
and don't say a dick pic.
No. I still want to meet those girls that are like, wow, I got one. Let's go.
I just got my first one.
Let's do it.
Like 3 days ago, I just got my first one.
You did?
Yeah.
I hope it was from Tyler.
Some random guy on Instagram.
Okay.
And then I went to go click on it to share to my friends.
Yeah.
And it was disappeared.
That's sad.
I couldn't spread it.
Oh, wow. Craziest thing? We probably drive all over Western Canada for these two girls. In my early 20s, my best friend and I met best friends that were figure skaters with Beauty and the Beast on ice.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And it was kind of one of those movie scene type things where it's like best friends are dating best friends. This could have been, and we drove around, we followed them. They were touring, so we just chased them all over. I don't know how we paid for gas or anything because we weren't really working, but we drove to Saskatoon, we drove to Spokane, and I was heavily considering driving to Peoria, Illinois.
Wow.
Which is a long way from Calgary.
That's some serious love.
And this was in February, because it was Valentine's Day. I was going to drive down there, and then, found out she had another boyfriend. Surprise, surprise. But anyway.
Well, at least you didn't show up there with flowers.
I know, right?
She was bucking down on some dude.
That'd be
a lot.
So that was a kind of crazy thing.
All right.
That's a good segue to Mazzy Star there, if you hit that
one. Just bringing up bad memories. Left,
right, no, you know what?
It's a great song.
It is good. Yeah, she's got a fantastic voice, but that was one of the songs that, man, it's so funny because when we ended up driving these girls to Saskatoon one day, major snowstorm, but they could stay a couple extra days if they didn't go on the tour bus, so we could spend a few more hours with them, right? And I remember because we drove out there, dropped them off, and then I don't know how many times we listened to that song, but you know when you're 20 and you just fall in love and that's it.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, I used to fall in love so quick. But I remember driving back from Saskatoon, whatever it was, 4 hours, and we listened to that song and both Cam and I were just bawling like a couple little babies, but oh yeah.
So you obviously dated through high school? Did you date through high school? Or?
Yeah, I had a high school girlfriend.
So before you got married, what was your longest relationship you ever been in?
Kind of all through high school, so 2 to 3 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were committed.
I was a long term, yeah. I didn't date a lot. I dated long.
Yeah.
I guess so.
That's good though. That's nice. So what would you say people know you for? Like if I was to say, who is Duff? They would say, oh, he is.
Oh, he's funny. He doesn't take himself very seriously. He likes to make people laugh. He'll.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah, you're super approachable. You're easy to talk to, right, ladies? He's single, so if you're looking, do you want to put a little?
Yeah. No, I mean, whatever. Long walks, all that kind of stuff, right? Whatever. But no, it was funny. Someone asked me that about who would be. Of course, someone that's interested in personal growth, likes working on themselves, has other hobbies.
Yeah.
Right? Has their own group of friends.
Yes. I do not want to become your hobby.
Yeah, and I don't want to be responsible for your happiness.
That's right.
And because I like to do things, and I work on old Volkswagens, and
that you drove here today.
I did. It's 32 degrees, and I'm so grateful my front window's open because vinyl seats are they're smoking hot in this weather.
Right. What's your biggest deal breaker in a relationship?
Smoking.
Smoking. Wow.
Yeah.
So you don't even know, you guys have been on tons of dates, made out.
Oh,
and
I would know.
You hook up at the bar and you just see her just cracking a cigarette.
Done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how come?
It's I guess it's two things. My dad used to smoke growing up.
Yeah.
And we would go camping, and we'd go in his truck camping. He had a camper, and he would light up and it just wasn't. It was just that smell. I never got it. I was never, I guess, attracted. It's just not a nice smell.
Did you ever try smoking growing up?
I've never smoked a cigarette.
No way.
I've never even taken a drag. It was just that relationship. Now, the smell of weed is certainly different. It's a much sweeter smell for sure. So I can see why people would smoke that versus cigarettes. But I never understood the attraction to cigarettes.
Wow.
But my high school girlfriend, she
to not even have one cigarette.
Never even tried it. No, and even though my dad did smoke for a bit, he's
been steal the cigarettes.
He's quit a long time ago, and so but my high school girlfriend, she would sort of secretly smoke, and
you didn't like
I just hated it, and it was the smoking thing, but it also the secret, right? That she was lying kind of
thing.
She
couldn't wear your bone sweater.
No.
Because of that.
And I remember I'd meet up with her and I'd do that. I had this little secret trick, but I would just like kiss her hand, right? You know, like a gentleman. Oh, kiss your hand, and I could smell.
Smells like bone.
You smell your whole. I'm just holding it for someone, and I'm just like, oh my god.
I used to use that.
Did you?
I'm just holding it for
someone. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. This song is a speaker dancer one.
Yes, I guess. Yeah.
I can see you just like.
Robin S. That's probably my most favorite Euro dance song of all time.
Yeah.
Like I got big into that. But that one, it's a dance floor filler. Like you play that song and everyone's running for the dance floor. But the Euro 90s dance was very big in my life for a bit there too. And it's funny how you can relate your life back to certain segments of music. That was a big there. But I'm kind of like a everything but country music guy.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of country music. Mind you, when CDs were big, the most CDs I've had of any one artist was Madonna and Johnny Cash, which is a bit ironic, I guess, but I like Johnny Cash, but I don't like the poppy country music. But Robin S is just, man, it's tested the time. Like, it's just nonstop. Everybody loves that song.
Right.
They're like, man, I don't like that. People have redone it, but that's just such a classic.
So there's a really good part in the beginning. So would you classify yourself as a good singer?
No.
No, not
Certainly
a good
not.
singer.
No.
No.
I'm pretty sure I know. I'm not good in the shower. Like, I still, even though I'm sure if I go back and listen to this, I don't know really anyone that loves the sound of their own voice recorded. Hearing it back, we're like, what? Is that really how I sound? But I'm pretty sure. I have done some singing. We would sing, we had to do some singing for Ukrainian dancing when I was a Ukrainian dancer. And some people have said, well, at least you can carry a tune, right? Where's the bucket? I'll carry it in that. But I can sort of, well, I'm not making a career out of it. Let me put it that way.
So you've been single for a while. How long have you been single for?
Well, I was dating a girl last year for a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of a COVID relationship.
Yeah.
And we met through my brother and his girlfriend. And are you passing for me? Oh, you're kidding. I'm not passing on this. I'm not shy about it. But yeah, we met sort of before, just as COVID started. And she was from out of town, so she lives in Campbell River. And
Oh, no way.
she was a DJ, and so that we had a bit of a connection there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, but distances. And she's a great gal. We still talk here and there. And if it wasn't for maybe COVID, we might be able to give it a shot. But we just.
So the reason why I was asking you is I wanted to know, like, have you ever been on a really bad date?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm excited. Let's hear the story.
There's been a few.
Were you the one that caused the bad date, or was it the other party?
No, I think it's a lot about misinformation. You can strategic.
I said no.
There's certainly some strategic photos that you can place. I'm a bit of a unique individual that if I post a picture from 15 years ago, I still look like that photo.
Yeah.
There's some
you've
people
aged very nicely.
I appreciate that. I'll take it. I'd rather that way than the other direction for sure.
You look like shit. Just kidding.
Way to go.
Yeah. Way to rock it up.
So there's been a few where you kind of show up and you're kind of like, oh, we have very different gym schedules. Let's put it that way. So things like that. I will tell you a funny story though about dating. This is a bunch of years ago, where I had met this. We were speaking, and then she's like, "Oh, I can't meet tonight. I'm teaching a class." And so my response back was, I try to be a little bit different if I am responding, not like hey, but so my response back was, "Oh, what am I learning tonight?" And she goes, "Ooh, well played, well played. Actually, I'm teaching hot yoga," and I'm big into hot yoga, and so I thought, well, I got my mat with me. Let's go. What's the worst that could happen? And so I showed up to this yoga studio, and it was the first time there. So they make you fill out all these forms that if you die, you're not going to sue, that sort of thing. But I had seen her, and she was already in her gear and everything, and she was walking around in bare feet. And for those that know me, and those that don't, you're about to find this out, I am not a foot fan. I dislike feet 100%. So there was that moment of, do I dart or do I stay? What should I do? And
Were they really bad feet?
They were bad. They were so bad. Like
some
of the worst.
Hairy or like
some of the worst. Oh yeah. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is a conundrum. And so I did end up staying, and of course, you know, she would walk around. Because she knew where I was, she'd pay more attention to me, so she'd walk right by, and I'm like, whoa, yeah. So we end up, you know, just kind of going for a walk after meeting.
And you're asking her where she is.
And yeah, like she's a bit granola-y, if that's the word. I'm okay to use that. But she slips on her Birkenstocks, and I went, this is just not going to work. So we did go for a walk, but that was it.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like we have to cut to a song.
Okay, let's do it. Oh yeah.
Hey. Supertramp. So good, hey?
Very good, very good. So, again, not like any of the other songs, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Very diverse. In the 70s, my parents owned Kelly's Stereo Mart, record shop.
Nice.
And so my parents are divorced. My stepdad, we call him Boom Pops. When we were little, he's been around since I was 7, I think, 6 or 7. And so one of the things when the shop shut down, my parents got like a really high-end stereo system from the 70s. And one of the things we used to do was we would listen to records, and on the back of the sleeve they always put the song but they would put the time on how long the song was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so Boom Pops was a big, like he times everything. You wanna know how long you had a stopwatch, you could time everything. So we used to do this where we would play the song and we would sit around and listen to all these songs, and he would time them to see if they got it right on the album sleeve. And so we listened to tons of stuff back then. Toto, right? Alan Parsons Project, John Evangelis, all of these old 70s, 70s music.
The Nylons.
Supertramp was one of the big of them, one of the big songs. And Dreamer is just something, I mean, you listen to the words, and I'm a bit of a dreamer, and I like lyrics. Lyrics are very relevant.
Me too. I love lyrics too. What's the last X-rated film you've watched?
Gosh, movies haven't, like, X-rated. You're talking porn, or are you talking? Jeez.
Like, are you a big porn guy?
No. I haven't even seen like 50 Shades of Grey.
So you're not one of the people at the office that are watching the porn then?
No. Using up all the bandwidth? No.
It must be gall, right?
Yeah.
It must be.
Not me.
Sweating in there.
Not me.
It's out of control.
Yeah.
You are sharing an office though.
I am sharing an office.
What do you think? Do you think Jay's heavy in porn?
No, I think Jay. I don't think so.
Do you guys hang out on the weekends? Or?
We do actually. We spend a lot of time together.
Yeah.
We live across the street and 9 houses down from each other. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So we'll scoot up and watch some hockey up at the
awesome.
bar, have a beer or something.
He's such a good guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the only guys I can. This sounds weird, but when we go to convention and stuff with work, like, he's okay to share a room with me, and I am with him. We don't snore. We can actually sleep.
That's good.
We're good. We're responsible.
I hate snores.
Oh my gosh.
My husband wears a mouthpiece.
All
or
right.
he would be choked.
Yeah. Just right off the hockey.
All right.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Right, strung out.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I feel like they've played Warped Tour or something.
They've been on Warped Tour, Face to Face, No Effects, Rancid, a lot of the punk rock
I love
bands.
Rancid.
Yeah.
I love Rancid.
They're good. They were getting scrolled by on, like, maybe there's one of these. That was with the figure skater girls. Rancid was right there with them too. But Strung Out is they play some different songs too. It's not all the same sound. That's one of the songs that I can sing like every word, and they sing pretty fast. But do you remember the Night Gallery?
Like the bar?
The bar on First Street. During Stampede, Strung Out came and played the Night Gallery.
No way.
For someone who's so anti-smoker, the Night Gallery is one of the worst places.
Saying you don't drink and go to the back alley.
Yeah, exactly. But you go there and you basically select which outfit you're going to burn at the end of the night. It was so smoky, but I remember seeing Strung Out there, and it was right during Stampede. He grabbed some dude's hat, like cowboy hat from the audience, sang a couple songs in it, and he punched his hand right through the top of it. I'm just like, these guys are so kick-ass. I love it. I love them.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they when the song comes on, they make my car drive faster.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. If I ever got pulled over, that's what I have to tell it. But it's Strung Out was on.
That's
like,
right.
Come on, dude. Let me play a couple songs.
So all the places that you traveled in the world, what's the weirdest thing you've ever ate?
Some I wouldn't even know. I did some traveling to the Ukraine, and
so now we're talking like intestines.
Well, it was we used to say for dinner we would have MMP, mystery meat product, and potatoes. It was some sort of mystery meat product. And potatoes was basically dinner every night because I had gone over there for a dance seminar.
Yeah.
And we had the benefit, I guess, if I could call it a benefit, but there was a culinary school right next door to where we were staying.
Oh,
And
nice.
so we would go over there and we got to eat all this food. But like I said,
Don't know what you
I might have eaten some crazy stuff, but
I just didn't know.
I'm pretty risky when it comes to
Are
that. Yeah. I don't know if I could be on Fear Factor and down like a live scorpion or something like that, but
Yeah,
ugh,
it's gross.
I don't know how anyone.
When I was in Thailand, they had. Have you been to Thailand?
No, not yet.
Yeah, so they had just rows and rows of like you name it.
Whatever you want, grasshopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot. I did not have any of it.
You didn't?
No, I tried like a cricket. That was
Yeah.
that was about how adventurous I got. I just felt like just kind of sitting on the ground with all the cockroaches was probably I was probably
Close enough,
pretty
right?
risky.
You might have ate one night.
I remember sitting. We went for a trek
Yeah.
in the jungle, and we found this nice little hot pool. And I remember sitting in it with this girl that I went to massage school with. We just met. We just totally clicked right away.
Yeah.
And all these little kids came in. We were like in the jungle. All these little kids came and jumped in there, and they're just like scooping up tadpoles or something, just ramming in our face.
Wow.
And they're
live.
eating them, and we were just like, "This is crazy." Okay, well, this is all right.
You didn't try one?
No, like
Fetch me one,
I
little
was
child.
wondering if maybe we were in like a, like a fishbowl. We may have been in the wrong area. There was like 6 kids in there just eating these tadpoles, and we were like,
Dinner time.
we
Wow.
might be in the wrong pool. I don't know what was going on.
Well, it's just like veal with frog's legs, right?
So I'd love to ask this question because I'm always curious what people say. But if I was blind,
Mm-hmm.
how would you describe the color yellow to me?
I'd probably use a temperature, like a
Okay.
warm temperature or something. That it's very warming, that it feels very soothing, and it's gentle. That's what I would say.
I like it.
Yeah.
Everybody that I've asked that question is generally like that.
Yeah.
It's warm, it's soothing, it's calm. It's interesting how people see that color
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Or play it like a music style, a very
Yeah.
gentle music style, like a taiko or something like that. That's very go to sleep. The XX. I think the
That's
XX
right.
would be yellow. Kind of
Go
thing
to
like that.
sleep.
Yeah.
That's right. All right.
Where are we at?
We're at the last song. You
Are
ready?
we? No, there's one more. I
You
think.
think so?
More face to face.
Just because you said you loved it so
I know,
much,
I
right?
know.
You said you loved it so much.
Yeah. I could listen all day. I'll tell you a story about face to face.
Okay, tell me.
Back, there was a Volkswagen show back in Seattle that we used to drive to. It was a 2-day event. Saturday was a vintage swap meet, and it was all vintage cars.
Oh, cool.
Everything before 1967.
Yeah.
And then Sunday was the Seattle International Raceway, so it was as a drag strip, and then it was all the water cooleds and newer vehicles and stuff. But on the drive down, I drove down with a good friend of mine, Bert, and my car wasn't ready yet, my Beetle wasn't ready yet, so I rode with him. He did not have a stereo in his car. We had a little cassette deck, and we had one cassette tape, and it was that
No
Face to
way.
Face
That's
album.
hilarious.
And so we played that song, that cassette, all the way there and all the way back,
I love it.
and still never got tired of it. So that was where maybe my love affair came
Yeah.
to them, because I could just constantly listen to them.
It's good. I haven't really listened to them a lot at
Yeah.
all, right? So do you have a favorite movie or a movie that makes you cry every single time you see it?
I'm a big fan of Ronin,
Okay.
that movie. I like chase scenes. I'm a big fan. I just watched The Usual Suspects,
I love
which
that
is another
show.
movie
That
I
would
could-
totally I could totally see you liking that show.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
such a good show.
I do like it, and so I just recently watched that. But certainly one of my most favorite movies of all time is Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you're kind
It
of
does-
quirky.
It
like
doesn't
me,
make me
but-
cry or anything, but
I did not enjoy it when it first came out, but now I watch it and I'm like, okay, I can handle this guy. But when it first came out, I was like, I can't do it.
I remember the first time I watched it, and I didn't know if it was for real. I thought,
Yeah.
is this for real? Like, is this serious? And then when I watched it the second time, I'm like, okay, let your guard down. It's not a serious movie. This is a goofball movie, and I love it. So
I asked Tyler this question yesterday. I said, what would you rather lose, your sex organ or gain 200 pounds?
Well, no.
I didn't like Tyler's answer.
You didn't?
No.
I picked the weight because I knew I could lose it.
That's what I said.
Yes, 200
because, oh my
pounds.
God, I'm like, babe, you can get on a treadmill and lose this weight.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, you didn't say that. Like, why would you want to have sex with a 400-pound man?
Yeah. Well, and you could lose it like that. It's funny you ask that because there's been an attractiveness to this whole idea of like, I wonder what it's like to be massive. And then have this like Jared Subway story where you're like,
yeah,
what?
Lose it all.
Yeah, and this big huge success story.
I don't think you should go that way.
No, I'm not going to do that, but I'm not giving up my sex.
Some good old Phil Collins,
Phil
right?
Collins.
I have a friend that is obsessed with Phil Collins.
Really?
And we would listen to it late at night after beers.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just belt this stuff out like there was no tomorrow. And I just
Yeah.
didn't know where it came from.
Yeah, this song is it's a classic for sure. And some of the memories going back to camping, you know, with my dad,
Yeah.
we would play that song and he worked for Sony store for many years. He worked for Sounds Around for a bunch of years, which is I think it's just a Calgary-based company.
Yeah.
He always had a huge stereo system in his vehicles. And I remember listening to that, and then of course when the drum hits, and it's just one of those like, yeah, this is it, and everyone air plays the drums, and
That's right.
but yeah, it's certainly a very, and I mean the messaging in it is kind of quite scary actually, right? About who he wrote it for, and
Yeah.
there's some pretty, I would say powerful lines, but like, whoa, that's a mean line to say about anyone.
Yeah.
The one about drowning, like if you told me you're drowning and I would not lend a hand, like wow, you really don't like that person very much.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But-
It'd be really cool to kind of take this to that level where you are, you know, talking to them about what that song meant and,
Mhm.
and them just being very transparent. I feel like, I don't know if a lot of artists would be
Yeah.
without fear of what the public would say or what people would actually say.
Mhm.
That's the only part that's
Yeah.
too bad, because it would be really interesting just to have that candid conversation with some of these people that have these songs like this.
Yeah,
Where
like a
they-
Taylor Swift. Every
Shake it
boyfriend,
off.
yeah, every boyfriend, you're in a song. Surprised I didn't know that, but anyway,
Oh my God.
That's
So
embarrassing.
Tyler wanted me to ask you this question.
I'm ready.
If you've ever been caught masturbating, would you continue masturbating or stop masturbating?
I would give that answer in two ways. One as a young boy, and two as a
Okay.
as a
So
grown
let's
up.
go with the first one, the young
First
boy.
one, for sure. Act like nothing happened, put the business away, like, no, I'm not crying, you're crying sort of thing, right? I don't know what you saw, like, you must have been mistaken. But that's the thing, like, people are just like, back then, everyone's a liar, right?
That's right.
And now it's just like, whatever, man. I'm 3 pumps away.
Don't stop me now.
Is that what you wanted to hear, Tyler?
What's the best gift you've ever been given?
I'm not. That's a great question. I venture to say, like, and I'll go back to when I was married. I never really got like I spent a lot of time working on cars, and so there was never like a gift of cars. It was almost like if you got more car stuff, I wouldn't see you as much, right? You're like,
Yeah.
now you're gonna go work on it. But probably the coolest gift was when I finished my Volkswagen Beetle. My wife at the time, Trista, she got me a personalized license plate that said Creamsicle. And that's been, I've had that for 20 something years now. I think I finished my Beetle in 97, 98, and immediately got that. And so that was probably one of the coolest things I ever got. It was
That's awesome.
relevant and
Yeah.
very well thought out, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. Okay, this is the last song. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready, I think. Yeah.
You scared?
Oh, yeah.
End of the line. Okay.
Those guys. There's such a
Sounds
fun
like
band,
there's lots
right?
of traveling involved with this song.
No,
No?
it's not what you think actually.
Oh.
I mean, they'd be a good road trip
Yeah,
type
for
of band,
sure.
right? But in high school, that's when they came out, early 90s, and my best friend Shane and I used to skateboard to the Traveling Wilburys all the time.
No way. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it's such a fun album from start to finish as well. And I encourage everyone, if you've never heard of the Traveling Wilburys, like go put them on. They're such a fun. I don't think I'd count them as country, but they're just a super fun band.
They're foot tapping bands.
Yeah, they just get you going and
That's
stuff.
right.
But we used to skateboard to them all the time.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So, last question.
Okay.
If you could tell your 30-year-old self some words of wisdom, what would you say?
Oh man, this is really an easy one. I've been it's funny because I've been so outgoing and different and traveling a different path, but yet I'm still super concerned about what other people think. And if I could go back and tell my 30-year-old self, 20-year-old self, just be you, own it, and don't care what other people think. Because most times they're jealous about where you're at. And yet, there's certainly been some things that I either haven't said or spoken my mind, or I'm the shy guy in the room too.
Yeah.
Which is hard to believe sometimes. I know lots of people are like, what? You're at the front of the stage speaking, but man, I worked myself up to that. I'm a forced extrovert in that situation. So that's the thing, just have confidence.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Duff. Thank you for joining us today on Music Junkies.
This is so much fun. I love
I
it.
hope you had a good time.
I had a blast.
It was
Thank
so
you.
much fun. Yeah, we're going to have you again. Round 2.
Okay, I can do it. I got more songs.
I love it.
I can do it.
Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies, a podcast about people sharing extraordinary stories about how music has impacted their lives.